Well, hello and welcome to today's show. We are featuring a very special guest. Um, Hope he and myself don't get too verklempt and caught up in the moment because there is a lot of history here with this guest. One of the original Grapevine artists, longtime dear friend. I won't get too much into the nostalgia of it because I'm putting Dan on the spot enough as it is. But we are fortunate enough to be joined by Dan Telleen from Vail, Colorado, in his store, Carrots, Karats. Absolutely wonderful person. My favorite jeweler. As you can tell, I walk around with a ton of his work on all the time. Basically with his billboard child. But we are so thankful to have worked with Dan Telleen for many decades. Again, like the other artists, this is not about me. This is not about the gallery. This is the opportunity for them to give their work a voice and talk about their career, how they got started, and talk about their work and give you some insight into how they create the amazing work that they have on display for all of us to enjoy and collect. So without further ado, Dan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you. And I should say I'm sitting in my gallery in Vail, Colorado right now. And when I first met the Grapevine, I wasn't in this gallery. I was in another location. Um, the story goes that I used to be an elementary school art teacher. I was in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and every summer, a college friend and I would get together, take everything we'd made during the winter, and hit the road and look for someplace where we could go do what today is called a pop-up store. We'd find an empty building or an empty store somewhere. First one we found was in Central City, Colorado. And the lady that owned the shop let us move into her back room and make jewelry. And then we sold it to her customers as they came through her art gallery. Our deal was we paid her 10% of everything we sold, and we got to use her space to make stuff. And that was just sort of an accident. It was, she just offered the opportunity that we could do that. And another friend says weaponized opportunity.
Well, Dan Telleen was one of the pioneers of the now very famous Vail, Colorado. And as a matter of fact, little side note, I got a call on our campground and the guy said, well, I've never done business with you. I've never been to Oklahoma. And I said, I know they got our credit card services mixed up, but he told me he was in Vail, Colorado. So there might be a gentleman. He's only 40 minutes from you. And he said, oh, wow. Vail, Colorado, do you mind me asking who it is? I said, no, go in and talk to Dan. He's amazing. So you may have a guy coming in who called me mad about a charge that he didn't think made sense. And we got all that smoothed over. Now he might be coming to see you and place an order.
I hope so. That's one of those weaponized opportunities.
You betcha. You betcha.
So I'll look forward to meeting him. That was what happened when, after 3 summers of going around somewhere in Colorado, setting up a little pop-up store and making jewelry, we came to Vail, Colorado because we'd heard about it. We found an empty store and we rented that one. We stayed with the idea that we were going to be in Vail for 5 years and then sell everything we'd made, including the lease to the store, and go back to college. Well, I never did that. But during that first 5 years, I think it was probably the second year, two guys walked into the Boy, Clay, I hope you can edit things out.
No, just be yourself and be natural. But you know, Dan's taken a moment because my 2 predecessors and mentors, longtime dear friends of Dan, this Dan Telleen was Walter Gray and Dan Blanchard. And ironically, they never meant to start a gallery, almost like Dan Telleen doing a pop-up show. And one thing led to another, and they'd have the show and have the artists over their house and have a salon style art show, kind of a pop-up on their own, which ended up turning into the Grapevine Gallery. And here we are today, almost full circle to our roots. And
Even before they did the salon shows, they invited me and my partner at the time to come down to Oklahoma City and be on their TV show. They had a TV show called Creative Crafts, and I think it was the longest running uh, public television show ever, or at that time. And they interviewed different artists, and they told us when they came into the store what they were doing. Well, they didn't tell us when they came into the store. They just talked to us. They left. And then a little bit later, they came back. They said, you know, we got as far away as Copper Mountain, which is about 20 miles away. And they said, we decided to come back and invite you to be on our TV show. The Christiania is go to the end of the next building and cross the covered bridge, walk up to the top of the street in a car, drive up to the top of the street, turn right, go past the parking structure entrance, and then spiral down. And it's the second right-hand turn you can make, right up there. Yeah. Then go to the end of the parking structure and go down the road. Yeah.
so they
Should we
got as
start
far as
over, Clay?
no, so they got as far as
Okay.
Copper Mountain and headed back.
They headed back and they came in and they bought a couple of rings, one ring each, and then invited us to be on their TV show. And so we set a date and we went down to Oklahoma City, and that was the first of several shows that we taped for Creative Crafts. And after a few years, they decided that so many people were asking them about art. You know, they had another show called Medicine and You, and another show called Money and You, where they interviewed bankers. In the medicine show, they interviewed doctors, and both of them would ask about art. They'd say, you know, you got this other show. We're thinking about buying a painting. What do you think? And then Dan and Walt would give them free advice. And Walt told me one time, he said, you know, we finally decided that maybe we ought to just be selling the art ourselves. And so I know they had encouragement from, what's his name, the Mexican artist, to
Alfredo
do a show.
Zalci and Leonardo Nierman.
Yeah. And their accountant advised them they should do something. So they finally did. They didn't want to do a 9-to-5 store, you know, a storefront with the responsibility of being there every day. So they lit on the idea of why not just do something in the home, do it by invitation, and let's see how it goes. And it went really well. It was a unique formula, and it was successful. And the first year they did it, they invited me to be in their gallery, and I said, "God, I'm busy with my own gallery. I can't." But the second year, I started showing, and I've been showing at the Grapevine ever since. That is probably when I met them was, I think, 49 years ago. So I'm not sure how long I've been showing at the Grapevine, but it's over 30 years, I bet. So anyway, the kinds of things that I was showing back then, you know, I'll have Emily follow me to one of the display cases, and I'll show you a bracelet that I know I worked on. I've never had it for sale before. Something I worked on and made probably in the late 70s. And what I want Emily to show, Emily's our camera person.
And thank you, Emily, for your help today.
You're welcome.
Just all this lacy network and this texture of, this was one bracelet. I was just getting started doing things this way. And still today, 50 some years later, these earrings have that same kind of line and texture to them. Look at this one, this lacy network. So that's an element that follows me back to back in the early 70s. And I think it's important that an element like that exists in my work, because to have a body of work that stays connected to early pieces shows a lot of depth. And that's one thing when you come into Carrots, you can see a lot of depth in the things that we show, and a lot of time. Time is a theme in Carrots and my jewelry here at Carrots. Originally, when I started Carrots, the idea was it would be all my stuff. But as we walk around the gallery, you'll see I represent other artists now. I never was able to keep up. So if I was going to have a full gallery and the responsibility of what Dan and Walt didn't want, you know, a 9 to 5 front door, I needed to have other people in the gallery too. And so we represent about 15 other artists. These are all pieces that are about time. They're all impressions from ancient stone seals, Assyrian, Egyptian, Roman, Greek, all carved stone. And I use the impressions to make things. These are just the basic impression, and well, they have lots and lots of history to them and uniqueness too. I own the seal, so nobody can duplicate that. But I didn't carve the seal. I don't want to take responsibility for it. This is somebody that 2,500, 3,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago, did a carving and was using, made that seal for someone who used it to sign sign a package, seal a package, seal a letter. They were used a long time ago.
Those seals are really fascinating. Hopefully you have access to one where people can see that it's actually a cylinder that they can roll on the gold and create that impression.
Let's walk back through the store. I'll get those. There's something that's sitting in the front window, and it's a selection of ancient stone seals. This is the oldest one I have. It's Assyrian. The image is a horned animal and a little stick figure guy. I don't know when the images are. I'll kind of move it around, but that's my tool. It's my tool to make something with. Here's another one that is Roman. It's a lion. This one I use a lot. It's an angel feeding a deer with a star in the sky. It's a sweet image.
It is.
And I bet I can find a ring that has that image.
Beautiful work.
Now, I work in wax, and just like a sculptor would, except when the sculptor goes to cast his work in bronze, I'm casting in gold or silver. But it's still the lost wax casting method that so many artists have used for so many years. I'll show you. I use a lot of found objects too. I guess back to those seals are actually found objects. Even though I rarely set them into the jewelry, I use them as my tool. Found objects, a lot of African found objects. These are African iron bracelets, and they've all been connected with sterling silver, and they make a necklace or a bracelet. And you fold it up like this, it's a bracelet. If you open it wide, then there is a clasp right here, and it makes a necklace. but it's African iron and sterling silver. The African iron, I think, was a form of money at one time, because iron that is that good, wrought iron, that you can twist that tightly, that you can pound, forge to such a thin tip, and then still be able to wrap it, shows that it's good quality iron. And iron in Africa is so rare that I think what these were made to be is a form of money. Here's another form of money or witchcraft. Or in the Philippines, I think they wear snake vertebrae to ward off lightning strikes. And in Africa, I think it's worn to promote painless childbirth. But these are African snake vertebrae. And then here I've made them, reproduced them in silver and inserted them into the line of bone. Here on my wrist is one that is snake bone right here and 18 karat gold here, solid 18 karat gold. And they're all held together with a chain running through it. This one is a silver chain. This one might be a gold chain, I'm not sure. Yeah, I like using gold chains the best. It's sort of a secret batch of value, and they seem to wear the best too. They don't stretch as easily. There's an African collar, an African iron collar that I've wrapped in gold and then added a little bit of diamond. These are snake vertebra earrings.
So when you're saying you put those pieces in there, are you lengthening the skeletal structure of the snake vertebrae for the purposes of the piece, or are they just damaged and you capped them, or just capping existing vertebrae?
We don't cap them; they're solid.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess what I'm doing is taking one vertebra, making a mold of it, and then repeating it. So I'm lengthening the snake, but I'm also rearranging it. You know, no snake would have. Like here it is real tiny, and then here it is real tiny over here as it comes around. Now the way I get the snakes is they're big on one end and little on the other. I rearrange them to work well as a piece of jewelry.
Very nice.
And in doing that, then I have to have more than one mold usually, more than two molds usually. Here's another form of African money. It's called a manila. That shape is classic bronze money. And I used to make them in bronze, but I leave them in bronze. This one's done in sterling, and I made it obvious that I made it. It's not really a found object. Sometimes when you're working with found objects, it's really tempting to make your own found object. But that's a traditional shape of money. And the reason I don't like to use the bronze ones is over 400 years of that being a kind of money, they started making them, debasing the quality of the metal. And if there's lead in them, lead or, well, mostly lead, I don't want to poison my customers. So I don't encourage wearing the original manillas. I like to make new manillas. Let's see. Let's go back over to where we were originally sitting. And I'll talk to you a little bit about the different rings that are in the case here. Some of these are rings that I didn't get to go to Oklahoma to the Grapevine this last year because of COVID, but some of these rings went to Oklahoma before that. I'm sure this one did. This is a ring that anybody that's been in the gallery had a chance to see. And you can see it's that same kind of texture that's in that old bracelet that I pulled out. What's interesting about this one is that that gray stone that's in there, another found object, it's a meteorite. It actually fell out of the sky, hit the ground, and somebody picked it up and sold it to a meteorite merchant. And there really are. There are probably 20 guys running around the country, around the world, chasing meteorites and then selling them to people like me and museums and other collectors. But imagine having your own meteorite. That's why I did this star shape around the meteorite. And then I didn't set it in a typical way. You see the riveting that's done?
Mhm.
That's a way that I can make the bottom the ring, then around the bottom of the meteorite, then around the top I can do gold work, do two separate castings, and then put them back together and rivet them. So it's sort of like a sandwich. And on stones that are too crazy to, in the way they're shaped, to mount with prongs or a bezel, this is a nice way to do it. Also, more fragile stones, I can set them without having to clamp down on them. So that's here's another that this is an ancient coin. It's a Roman coin, and it swivels in the mounting.
That's always nice because you get a 2-for-1 on being able to turn the coin around and see different versions of
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
it. Do you mind talking about the oxidation that you use on your coins sometimes? Because I know the original, what I call my grapevine ring, I thought I was going to be in trouble because the oxidation, I'd worn it so much, I rubbed it off.
Well, yeah, we can restore it. But like this oxidation right here is an old Roman coin that probably came out of the dirt. I'm sure Roman soldiers used it to buy a loaf of bread with. They were probably paid with that bronze coin. It circulated for who knows how long. And in that patina, I can fake it, but I can never do it as good. It's just on bronze, it's liver sulfur. On silver, it's liver sulfur. On gold, it's more about warming it and heating it than it is actually adding a chemical to it. But liver sulfur is that stuff that in science class smelled like rotten eggs. That will give a patina to silver and bronze.
That was a very stunning piece. You know, I'm a sucker for a big ring with coins on it.
This is money. A lot of the things not only are about time, but they're about money. This is a trade bead, North American Indian trade bead. It's glass. They traded beads from Manhattan. This one is what I call a fluid band. It's a real liquidy texture to the band. Remember, I work in wax, so wax can be made liquid. And then you see that same kind of waxwork coming up to hold the stone.
Stunning piece.
Here's another one, same thing, a fluid band with a lacy network. And then the stone is a rare stone. It's a tourmaline, and not that tourmalines are necessarily rare, but this is one with copper as the imperfection in the tourmaline that made the color. That little bit of copper turned it this really electric blue green. It came from a mine called the Paraíba mine. Paraíba the mine is extinct now, and the stone stones from that mine are really rare. It was discovered in, I think, 1989, maybe. And by 1992, people were trading in it, but he really didn't know much about it. And it's just gone up and up and up in value. Yeah, I think in 1992, I was buying them for $5 a carat. And today, those same stones would be $5,000 a carat. So
That is a beautiful stone. Absolutely breathtaking.
somewhere I put out, oh, I think it's over here. The Paribas, is it in the front window? Oh, okay. Let me go to the front window. And is this showing?
Yeah.
It's Paribas in matrix. It's just a white stone. See the sandwich that I made for it?
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of Paribas running across the surface of it. Here's another piece that kind of the same color, but it's not a stone at all. It's a pearl. It's a pearl from an abalone. You know how pretty abalone shell can be.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is not abalone shell. It's an abalone pearl. Whoop. Piece is two-sided, and abalone pearls are really rare because well, it's, you know, if you have an oyster and you implant something into the oyster, you can make a cultured pearl. Abalones are all hemophiliacs, and if you start messing with them, they often start bleeding and die. And abalones are so valuable to abalone farmers that they don't dare mess with trying to make pearls. They're raising them for their meat, and they just, nobody makes abalone pearls. You have to find them in nature naturally. They're really rare. Now that I'm at the window, I'll show you some other things. So this is that lacy network again. The pendant is a carved tourmaline crystal, and then snake vertebra necklaces.
That's a beautiful setup.
Here are some more bracelets. This is an iron bracelet. Probably it was a medicine bracelet. Inside this pod is other stuff. I have no idea what the blacksmith put in there, but it was probably a prescription by an African witch doctor. And I got the bracelet at the Tucson Gem Show. I think it was an armband at one time. It was way too big to be used for the kind of jewelry I make. So we cut it back a little bit, did the scroll work on the bottom, and then just drilled into the top and set diamonds into it. Here's another manila with two masks. It's kind of like they're having a conversation across your wrist when you're wearing it. Set that down. We're going to end up with a whole front window out here. Let's see, what else? We use lots of different kinds of stones. This is a black opal from Lightning Ridge in Australia. Fiery on one side and not so fiery on the other side. And again, it's a sandwich. This is one of those where opal is really fragile. easy to chip. I don't like using prongs to set them or bezels if I don't have to. And so here, using that sandwich is a nice way to set an opal safely. Today you could do it with a laser, but I still like the way the rivets look and the little balled up ends to the rivets. And so rather than
I
take the
like that
easy way
technique a
out.
lot too.
Yeah.
Really shows the black opal off nicely.
Okay, here's a stick full of bracelets. And a lot of them are just telling you the story all over again of Manila. There's 2 masks on a Manila. There's another iron bracelet. This is not a medicine bracelet, just a piece of African jewelry in iron that I've added 22 karat gold to and diamonds. This is a sterling bracelet. And the toggle for the bracelet is a piece of wood that I found that had a knot in it, an empty knot. It just was so pretty that I made a mold of it and then cast it in sterling and used it to be the toggle for this bracelet. And it could be a necklace, or I have the mold so I can do it over and over. Here's another ancient seal. This is a Assyrian, I believe. It's almost like a cave painting kind of. It's a horse image, and just really pretty cool, and really an old piece of imagery. There's a rooster. Another iron bracelet, that this time done in 22 karat gold. Silver bracelets. This is interesting. I don't know, can you see the coin?
Mm-hmm.
The coin is the last king of Hawaii, 1882, I believe is the year.
If anyone hasn't seen this piece in person, it is so incredibly well done. If you don't mind zooming back in a moment there, thank you. Dan handcrafted all those little shells around the edge of the coin. It's just absolutely a masterpiece.
Well, I can't take real credit. I made molds of tiny little shells and then placed them on there in wax and then cast it. The coin is dated 1883, I think. And that's the only year that Hawaii made coins. And they made pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, halves, and dollars. That's a dime. Another African bracelet, medicine bracelet, but this one is open. It's been emptied out. This one too had been emptied out, and so I filled the hole with gold and diamonds.
I think that's a great medicine for this show. Golden diamonds.
Yeah. Let's see. I think
Guaranteed to cure a bad mood.
Yeah, jewelry is it is sort of a medicine. It can change your mood, and you always feel better when you put jewelry on. Here's some earrings that have been in the front window. Turquoise and gold. You don't see that often. I don't know why not. I really like turquoise and gold together.
It really works.
These are a mismatched pair of earrings that featured 22 karat gold and tanzanite. These are gold coins, United States gold coins dated 1853. And they're $1 gold pieces made into earrings. And this is, I said, sometimes I'm tempted to make my own found object. Well, I made a seal that is Pisces, 2 fish, and sort of a yin yang.
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
Yeah, I just never could find a seal that communicated that, so I made my own. Here's some rings that are mostly ancient seals. There's an owl that came from a Greek coin. Then that seal that I showed you was my oldest one. I said a little horned animal. Oh, that's the horned animal. And there's the stick figure guy from that same seal. And then the lion that I pointed out. Here's the angel deer star again. This is just working with wax and making it be, the wax will do this, and then I try and take advantage of what the wax will do and help it become jewelry. So let's see what else is in the window. This is not much of my gold work, but it's my gem selection. It's lapis, and these beads are big and they are near perfect. They're just the perfect color, and they're well, I think I'm just going to have Emily follow me out to the sunlight and see if they light up even more in sun. There we go.
Yeah, wow, those are really, really popping.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So lapis. And lapis is just a color like lapis. Here's another thing we ought to just go outside with. These are earrings, and they're tourmaline. They're tourmaline crystal slices. Tourmalines grow in long rods. These like slices of the rods. I guess it's like cutting, you get a hot dog. A hot dog. Here it's cutting a slice of tourmaline. And they're from about the same place in the crystal, so they make a book match.
That looks like a beautiful day in Vail as well.
It is really cool. It's a great day. Oh, here's a piece. You know, when I make jewelry in Vail, it's a tourist spot. And I know, you know, people can go into jewelry stores in their hometown. So why should I make jewelry like you can get at home? So something like this, you have to look a long time to find something like this. It's a collar. I'm going to take it off of this and show you how it opens up. The engineering on this is pretty cool. Oh, that's the hinge. Here's the clasp. So it opens up and it closes. Remember, I mentioned fluid bands. This is all that fluid kind of work. It just shows you what wax can be, and then I help it become jewelry.
Well, that is a beautiful piece.
Here's a bracelet that shows you what wax can, the spontaneity of. Now, when I was in college, I made this box in ceramics. So I have lots of training in ceramics, and my teacher told me it looked like it was made out of, didn't look like it was made out of clay. He said, it looks like it's iron or something. He said, you know, take advantage of what the clay can do, the spontaneity, you know, be spontaneous. And I carried that idea over into making jewelry. Most of my training is ceramics, but my jewelry always sold better. You know, those pop-up stores, I didn't sell much ceramics there, but my jewelry sold, and I guess I call it being a victim of opportunity. It just, but you can see how I made this, that, see how my thumb fits into there?
Mm-hmm.
And my thumb fits here. I was pushing this wax around the stone to get this to happen. Because I knew if I warmed the wax, I could make it become this. And just all that fits my hand. And probably in the polishing, we got rid of a lot of fingerprints that I wish we would have kept, you know, because they can transfer into the wax too.
I think you did a superb job. I love the clean lines with the free formed. It's a nice blend.
Thank you. Let's see, what else can I show you in here? We're walking past Carolyn Tyler, who's an artist that I've shown for probably 20 years now. An artist from England that I've been showing for only a couple of years. Let's see. This is, that was a carved emerald crystal, emerald beads, and 22 karat gold. So the carving is the head of Christ. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I gave him a gold halo and made it a pendant.
Beautiful piece.
Thank you. I'll move over here. I use a lot of pearls. The strands I don't take credit for. That's Koji Kawamoto, my pearl guy. But like here, this is a South Sea pearl. And instead of, you know, just a little drill hole through a pearl that usually you see, I made a giant drill hole and then lined it with gold, and the gold come out and fold around. So it makes a pearl slide. So if you're wearing it, it stays in place, and as you move, it moves.
That's so smart.
That's a South Sea Australian pearl. Here's a South Sea Tahitian pearl. Same idea. And this one, I knew I was going to make this idea with it. You see the line in the pearl?
Mm-hmm.
I just took advantage of that, what some people would call an imperfection, and had that line just through the center of the pearl. I thought it made an interesting design. Same way with this one, it's almost turquoise. It's still called a black pearl. Any pearl that's not white is a black pearl. But this is another Tahitian, and different colors running through it and lines of imperfections, but it makes a really nice pendant.
It does.
That way. And some of the pearls I use, I'm gonna open this up, are just not pearls you'd see somewhere else. These are Chinese freshwater, triangular, and look how big they are.
So with most people
Yeah.
thinking pearls are all round, we've seen, the black
Oh, there you go.
pearl from
Yeah,
over
there's
there,
round
and
pearls.
and
Yeah.
we've seen the round, and we've seen different shapes. So the classic round pearl is not the only shape that a pearl comes in, correct?
No, I like the other shapes. They're inspirational. I can work with round pearls, but like some of these are just, they're so, no, they're a beauty of nature.
I think so too.
Yeah, here's a pendant that I made with a theme, like the African iron, having African-like masks. I kind of hate to mix cultures. And This is one where this is all about California. The little $1 gold piece. It's like
Mhm.
you saw in those cufflink or earrings. But this is the back side. It's the date 1849. And so during the gold rush period, then I bought a California gold nugget to do the casting around the coin. And this is bonitoite, the blue stone. Kind of looks
Mhm.
like sapphire, but it's bonitoite. It's a stone that's only found in California, nowhere else in the world. And they're always blue.
Hmm.
And then this is a gold nugget from California.
Oh wow.
So these are all pearls that I found and used to make jewelry with, like here. These had some imperfections that I didn't like, so I set diamonds where the spots were. These are called rosebuds. I really like rosebuds. They're a freshwater pearl that grows like Sputniks, is what I call them.
Hmm.
But, and then that, I think Koji Kawamoto made those. But these, yeah, look at that shape. They just were so wanting to be drops, you know. And I found two that were so similar, they made good earrings instead of one pendant.
Yeah, the different shapes are really, really fun.
So let's see what else to show you. Down here, might surprise people. We've been walking around past all these displays down low, but this is a display of a meteorite. This came from Odessa, no, this came from Meteor Crater, Arizona, Devil's Canyon, which is right next to Meteor Crater. When the meteor hit, it broke up and things bounced back up in the air, and some meteorites can be found in this canyon near the crater. This is one of them, Devil's Canyon. This is an African meteorite. In Namibia. And you can see the original skin of the meteorite, and then it's been cut and polished and then lightly etched with acid. And so that crystalline structure that's exposed is unique to a meteorite. So when you find the Widmanstätten pattern, it's proof of a meteorite. The ring that I'm wearing, this ring I've worn off. It had a Widmanstätten pattern on it, but I've worn it so much it's gone. But these are two silver sleeves with a meteorite in between.
Beautiful piece.
Thank you.
It's also fun with the functionality about how it has the sleeves and it all slides together. That makes it so much more fun.
Well, you know, I think function is one of the things that divides craft from art. I know we talk about my jewelry being like art, but I think it's like art, but art is, sculptors really are not limited. Painters can do whatever they want and bust out of the frame and paint the backside or whatever they imagine, they can do it. But when you're making jewelry, you're limited by the function. I learned that in pottery. You know, when I was making pottery, if I started making sculpture, I broke away from the function. And with jewelry, it has to function to be wearable. And I try and make my pieces wearable and comfortable, you know, ergonomically correct. And when I do, there are some compromises I always have to make it be jewelry. So the wax might have a mind of its own, but And I try and help it become jewelry, but then even past that, I help that spontaneity of the wax to where it's something that's wearable and comfortable, and still, I hope, beautiful. Boy, as I walk around and look, I think we've talked about everything, but what we haven't done is just talk about more of the individual pieces, because we have a good bit of jewelry that I'd say is more traditional that we make, and we can make. We can do things that, well, like this one is sapphires and diamonds, and it's every bit as pretty and good as something somebody would see online or in a catalog, but we made it. So we can make traditional. This one is a jacket where the center comes out. So it's the engagement ring and the wedding ring. This too is a jacket, same idea.
What I love about what Dan can do, just so that all our viewers and collectors can understand, is if you come up with an idea, like I did with my ring, I wanted my birthstone, my wife's and my children, Dan's able to listen to what you're wanting to do and do some custom work as well. So as we finish up the show, we'll make sure that we get his contact information at Carrot shared with you, as well as the contact information at the Grapevine Gallery. And when we post the video, we'll make sure we have that information in there as well. So
yeah, that's one thing I think I'm good at, is I listen pretty well and pretty much get down the idea that somebody would like, but then I keep them from making mistakes, either aesthetically or practically, and try and stay inside their budget and make things that are still unique to the store, even though we're making it for them. I want you to see what this little ring, I liked it when I made it, so I made a mold of it, but it's not like I make 100 of them just like it. They're all different. This one is set with a tanzanite, I believe, set with a diamond. And this one is set with a pink diamond and white gold. And then you see what I've done with the band.
oh yeah,
So I've changed it, and it's leaves and small dots, where this one was some of that original texture I talked about built up on itself over and over. Lots of different kinds of stones: ruby, garnet, sapphire, all red. Here's a rare stone from Utah. Again, the only place in the world that I'm aware of it coming from is Utah. It's called Bixbite, which isn't a very pretty name, but it sure is a pretty stone.
it is.
Pretty color, raspberry red. A lot of people think it looks like a ruby, but it isn't. You know, here's a ruby. That's good ruby color.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Bixbite, and the Bixbite is more raspberry. Subtle, but different. A small piece of jade. It's stream worn, you know, I think. So. And that was found, it probably was found just like that, just a sliver of jade that tumbled in a river for thousands of years. It's a black diamond set in 18 karat gold, and then the 18 karat gold is set onto a silver band.
I I love the layering on that piece.
Thank you. Here's another one set with a tourmaline and silver band with 18 karat gold lace work on top, clutching a tourmaline. It's an ancient coin, more money, Apollo. And here's an ancient seal. It's a bunny rabbit set with diamonds. And if somebody comes into the store or calls and talks to me, we have lots of coins. Coins that, ancient coins.
For anyone who hasn't
These-
been able to view
these
these
two.
coins with Dan Telleen, these books he has are absolutely fascinating. If you have some time, make sure when you're in Vail, Colorado, you go buy carats, because he can custom make a ring out of any of these coins, and they're all just so fascinating.
These are from Alexander the Great. You know, when his army traveled, they traveled with a mint. So he could take the silver that they were plundering and melt it down, make coins, and pay the soldiers. You know, armies travel with kitchens, so he traveled with a mint. I like the imagery on coins. Like this is this two-faced guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really two-faced. He's a Greek and a Roman god that they imagined was, well, he's really, to me, a symbol of being able to look into the past with understanding, well, stand firmly in the present, let's say, standing firmly in the present and able to look into the past with understanding and into the future with imagination.
What a great image.
It's the god Janus. And I think that's where, you know, the investment company, the Janus Fund, I think that's why they picked that coin or that image. This is from Athens, this owl. And I think in some of the jewelry I showed earlier, there were owl faces. And usually I pull the owl faces from Greek coins. It's so classic and beautiful and add history to my pieces. So here's one that shipwreck coin, Spanish coin. So lots of coins to choose from, and I have access to lots of others. I got started making jewelry, I think, because as a little kid, an 8-year-old kid, I started collecting coins in 3rd grade. And coins gave me an insight into metallurgy and into coin design. And well, those things kind of, it was just a step sideways to be into jewelry. But I didn't do that till I was in college.
If anyone's coming through Vail this summer or early fall, do you have any big shows planned at Carrots or?
Oh, I always have a show of my stuff. We're always a big show, but now the 4th of July, Carolyn Tyler is an artist that's coming up from Bali and bringing lots of things with, and I think leaving most of it with us because of the pandemic. She'd rather stay in Bali right now. She isn't interested in traveling, and so we're going to have lots of things made in Bali from Carolyn Tyler. And then Koji Kawamoto always does a show the end of July, the beginning of August, and he'll be showing throughout the year with us too. When he comes in, he brings a really big, wide, deep, well, not so deep, but wide selection of pearls. He's really limited by what he can carry. You know, we get so many pearls with Koji. And those are the shows I know are going to happen. And I hope I do a show with the Grapevine soon.
I do too. You know, we do
Yeah.
miss you so much and miss having you around. And I know all the collectors and people that live here in the Oklahoma City metro area miss you as well. We tried to set this up for everyone again as a backstage pass into the artist's studio, so to speak. But Dan Telleen has his storefront in Vail, Colorado. So yes, Dan, we very much want to get you back here soon, but out of
Yeah,
an abundance
I
of
hope so.
caution, you know, we're doing this format. Hopefully people like it, because we may tie in with what's coming to the Grapevine with a little preview show
Sure.
like this in the future.
Well, and people coming in, we have access to, I mean, look at this drawer. It's all files of colored stones. And there's so much stuff that to show you that this is an old Chinese jade, probably a button or a toggle from who knows how old it is, but hundreds of years. And then there are faceted stones and there are crystals and lots of unset gems at carats.
Well, and what's the best way for someone who's in the area to get in contact with you besides just a traditional walk-in?
Oh, they can call. It's good if they make an appointment. And the phone number here at the gallery is area code 970-476-4760. And the address is box 279, Vail, Colorado. We do a lot of mailing back and forth. Right now we have 2 pair of earrings in Oregon. There are 3 pair that the woman looked on our website, and the website is caratsvail.com. She found them on our website and we've mailed them off to her on approval. The only responsibility she has is to send them back if she doesn't want them, or whatever she doesn't want, and to pay the postage coming back. But yeah, it's we work with people a lot, and I really want to. I'm gonna dig into one more place here.
It's just such a treat to get to see all this. It's also a lot of fun to see it in person, and I know everyone likes to try it on. And at the Pre to West shows, it's very common that Dan has models display his work out there at the shows as well. That's something my wife's certainly gonna miss doing.
Here's what I was looking for. I misplace things, but I don't lose things. So we have a customer that called and said she wanted a diamond necklace, and we talked about it. It's going to be a real simple diamond necklace, just a simple thin bezel in platinum around a 3-carat diamond and a 22-carat gold chain. So this is the start of a project. I didn't have the diamond in the store. I rarely have diamonds this big here in the store, but I found it, one of my suppliers, and it's everything the diamond should be. It's I like the proportions of it. I like the color of it. It's a D color. Anyway, that's another service we do, is we locate stones for people. If we don't have it, we can get it. After 51 years of doing this, I have good contacts for just about everything. Oh, and one thing I want to tell you is a lot of people think I made the ring I'm wearing, and you'd think I'd wear my own stuff, but actually I'm Norwegian, half Swede. And this ring was found when I was buying amber one time. I came across this ring. It's when they were digging for the amber in the Baltic Sea, they dug into an encampment, a Viking encampment. There were weapons, there were cooking utensils, cooking utensils, and one piece of jewelry, the silver ring. It's a Viking ring.
Wow, that is rare. Well, for those of you who aren't going to be making it through Vail, Colorado, feel free to contact me at the Grapevine Gallery. Our website is grapevinegalleryokc.com. You can also go on our website and you can access the phone numbers there and call or text me on those points of contact as well. Clay's email is clay.grapevine@gmail.com, but we'll make sure that we put those all down below in the YouTube video so that you don't have to feverishly jot down notes while we're talking. But I hope everyone's enjoyed our backstage pass into the Carrots Gallery in Vail, Colorado today. And Dan, thank you so much for taking your time, and thank you to our wonderful camera lady who's done, I think, a A+++ job of leading us in to see the piece and then getting nice close-ups and getting us color value of all these different wonderful stones and jewelry settings in gold and silver.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. Oh, and one, Clay, I didn't give our street address. How people find us when they come to Vail is 122 East Meadow Drive, in Vail, Colorado. Zip code is 81657.
Well, anybody who's anywhere even near Vail, Colorado, definitely contact Dan and make an appointment. You will not be sorry. If today's little snippet was any indication of the volume of amazing things to see there, it's really on a museum level of what Dan's built over 50 years of a career. He's the best in the business. He's the best at what he does. And I am obviously a huge fan and wear his work every day.
Yeah, it is like a museum, except that here you can touch stuff and you can buy it too. Yeah.
But mostly buy it.
Yeah, that's right. So,
well, Dan, thank you so much. We appreciate your big video debut on the phone. I know it's a different way for you to communicate, but we certainly appreciate you being brave enough to share your time with us, over the internet, and we thank you very much. And we can't wait for our show to debut, for everyone to enjoy this. And don't hesitate to call Dan, call Clay. It feels weird talking about us in the third and fourth person, so to speak, but we very much thank you for your time today, and we look forward to working with you and adding some of these pieces to your collection. Thanks again, Dan.
yeah, thank you, Clay.
Thank you.